All right, welcome to another Stormgate cast. This is going to be a ladder game, and it's going to star in the Blue Infernal Elf, aka 444, and in the Red Vanguard, Denver. And both of these players have played a lot of games on the ladder in the early access, and are very high ranked on the leaderboard. I count them both in the top 20 or 30, I think, um, ranked by MMR, certainly, but also ranked by points, I believe. Uh, but 444, I think, is Elf's alternate account, practice account, whatever you want to call it. Um, and this game was, like I said, played out on the ladder. But as I am a fan of Elf and I like her playstyle, I have asked her to share with me fun games from her ladder experience that I might be able to share with you, and that's what we're doing here. So Elf hit me up and said, "Hey, I think I got a good one for you, a good one between her and Denver," and that's what we're watching here. So let's see what happens in this match. We have double racks coming out of Denver, and we have double vault coming out of Elf. And after plucking down those trees here, it looks like Elf has chosen to creep this speed camp, which is becoming the new meta, I think. Creeping this one before the health, at least for Infernals. I've seen this a couple different high-ranked players do this. The first time or two I saw them knock down the trees, I thought it might have been an accident, but having seen it so many times now, I think it's almost certainly been an intentional thing. And that dog managing to get away here with 6 hit points. Well, and getting that healing cabbage in time to stay alive, and then say, well, I'm going to turn on you, Fiend, and try and get you. But yeah, now that dog running away. So just a little bit of hijinks, shenanigans. There's a farm over here. There's some fell hogs. Watch where you're going, Mr. Scout. Might run into a fell hog. And now Elf is going to be creeping Denver's speed cap. So out on the map, active, trying to get, and well, Denver says, fine, you steal my creeps, I'm going to annoy your imp. And 2 brutes from Elf chase that little rascal out of the base again. And now we have Denver's got some Lancers over here creeping. I like this. Triple Lancer style. And there's some Fiends trying to get in, but there's 2 Lancers back here as well. So Elf turns around and says, okay, I'm going home. Or, better yet, I'm going to your vision camp. And there is a dog stealing the speed camp, stealing Elf speed camp. And, ooh, just an aggro and let the fell hogs do it. This is, again, just really exploiting the bug. The bug right now that says these guys aren't doing as much damage as they should. So this farm, this building can creep this camp all by itself. Now we have 2 speedy little fiends chasing this dog away. Still haven't got a, but we have brutes fighting some lancers in the middle of the map. Little skirmishes going on here and there. But now the brutes have regrouped with their Hexen, and they've turned a couple fiends out. But the sortie boys, the Lancers, are not dissuaded, and they're going to chase these brutes across the map, chase the Hexen. They're just, seems like they're just a wee bit faster. And not with this speed juice. And he says, all right, I'm going to come and attack you right into your speed cap on the Shroud. No, don't want to do that. I will be retreating. I have more brutes joining for Elf, and she wants to push this little threat from these Lancers away. And sure enough, the Lancers are now running back. These speedy fiends finally getting that dog. Sorry, Mr. Scout, you're gone. And these 3 brutes going to run home. And it looks like this fiend's finally going to be dealt with. And the speed camp picked up again by Denver. Big old brute force. I like that. And what else? We do have a conclave. And we have a Hellforge going down. for upgrades. Oh, and a ritual chamber back in the main. So it doesn't look like we have a greater shrine on the way yet, but we are looking for upgrades to these tier 1 units. And for the moment, it's been brute, brute, brute. Lancers out on the map, feeling the speed cam, and now running in through the back door. But there's a brute there to greet them, saying, hey, please, welcome, come on in. No, actually, please go away. And all of my brute brothers will come and chase you out. And those speedy little lancers skirt away using their kinetic redistribution. Okay, some static D's going down. Meat farm and another meat farm. I thought that one might have been a shroud zone, but it's just another meat farm. And these lancers now on top of the Luminite camp. They just seem so tanky. When I fight this, all my units just squishily die. Although there's some really good DPS coming out of all of them. They're probably getting lots of multi-hits with that line attack. Skull of Shedda capturing this. And the Lancers, of course, recapturing it. And what do we got going on back here? We got more barracks, or 2 more barracks, and another scrapyard up here. We are now going for the quick draw hustle, so the Exos will be joining. And yeah, we have some of our first Exos out on the map already. Although still very Lancer heavy. Another Skull of Shedda trying to capture. We got a 3rd base going down for Elf. And looks like gaunts have been added, just a few. And the speed camping creeped now by Denver. While Elf is a little out of position here, creeping her health camp. What's Denver gonna do? He's going to go up the ramp, sees a farm, says thank you. And yeah, they cancel on the expo before they even got to it. Alright, some fiends. Trying to do a little run by. I like this. They're coming up here right as the Bob chops down the trees. And they're on that Bob. Oh, all the Bobs are going to come. But there are some Exos here to clean it up and get those Bobs to work. These fiends try to run away, but run into some Lancers. Alright, on top of the speed camp. Get those speedy juices. And now there's some fiends running out. Looks like their intent is to capture 2 more camps. And we got a Weaver walking on top now. So did we get any Brute upgrades? No, but we did get Plague Axes. A FG going down to get some of that Shroud Skin White Health. And creep in the other Luminite camp over here. Exos now being added. This is a nice little bio ball. Not so little, actually. Now it's Denver's time to soak in the speedy juices and move out. What are you going to do with that speed? What you going to do with all that speed? All that speed up in your trunk. Well, we are moving on to the Vision camp here, both of them, and there's going to be a little battle. Lancers out front trying to get some of these retreating brutes. Yeah, one of them goes down. Second one, the Fiend's easily shredded. And now we've got a little battle, and the Bio seem to be doing quite well here, taking out a lot of the front line there before Elf decided to retreat, which was probably wise. Ugh. Probably how Elf felt about that battle. Ugh. Alright, so our little bio ball moving into the health camp. And Elf went back to her speed camp to get, again, those speedy juices. They are really pretty addictive. You just want to sit in them and think, hey, look how speedy I am. And then you walk outside for 20 seconds and you're like, I'm not speedy anymore. I want to be speedier. Let me get in it. And now another FG. Let's get that shroud skin while we get speedy. See, that's the way to do it. Okay, we got a Lancer force over here. Meanwhile, we have another force over here. And what are their goals and their intentions on this map? To capture this vision camp at least, and there was a fiend up there that scared away the other force. I don't blame him. Fiends are scary. Oh, nope, not to these Exos. They had no problem with that fiend. And now this vision camp's going down too, and that's enough to make Elf say, let me get out of my speed camp and come on down here. And ooh, nice. Jumps on top of these mobs. This smaller force. Maybe not a match for what Elf has brought with her. And yeah, nice repositioning of the Gaunts there to get the Brutes more on the bobs and doing the tanking. But these Lancers are coming in from behind now, trying to get on top of the Gaunts. And the Gods trying to just sort of maneuver their way through, but now getting melted by the Exos and the Lancers in the back. On this side of the battle, things have gone pretty well in Denver's favor, but there are still Hellborns in the back throwing down, and a lot of Bobs did go down initially in that defense. Both armies kind of stabilizing a bit, not sure if they want to fully trade. Although, yeah, Elf turning back in and lashing down on a few of those Exos. Exos are, you know, it's the ball of Exos you don't want, but the only way to whittle them down is one at a time, so lash them in. Another Weaver going down, and that's the signal to Elf to retreat. Let's head back, regroup. Get back on the Shroud, get that Shroud skin back again, and then maybe push. That base being nullified, and now coming to steal the health or the speed camp. Ooh, and those Hellborn on the low ground with the vision provided by the Weavers, able to rain down that area of effect attack onto the buildings and the units of Denver. Alright, moving back to the Shroud again. And we see another little Fiend Force here. What's its goal? Do a little run by, but there are a lot of Exos here that push it back. And now the whole army's pushing into this vision camp. Denver's added his first helicarrier. And I'm not sure if Elf is super prepared for that tech switch, other than she does have a nice healthy ball of Gaunts there. Which are one of the two, maybe three if you count Spriggans as well, good anti-air options for Inferno. Now, Spriggans are actually pretty good against this type of air because the carriers count as heavy. And so they take bonus damage from the Spriggans. So that might be a good tech switch for Elf if she wants to deal with this. We do see that Molten Touch is out for these Hellborns. They're now lighting units on fire, doing a damage over time in addition to their area of effect. And this little Bioforce is going out to check out, hey, is there anything out here going to stop me from expanding? If so, buzz off. But otherwise, let's get this base up. And this base over here has already been up. And the Infernal just ahead on bases, as they tend to be. But it looks like even these bases going down now. Like, where did that army go? Okay, now creeping the speed camp again. And, ooh, very large looking army over here. And Elk's army supply up by about 30. A little more than 30, perhaps. But headed back to that speed camp again. I like it. I think I'm going to have to spend more time in the speed camps myself, seeing how much these high-ranked players do it. Make sure that their units are always on that speed advantage. And now, ooh, we have a push into the back of the army. I like this. It's a very good position attack for Elf. These other units have to effectively just run right by to get into the defense of their structures. In so doing, taking a lot of hits from the Hellborn and the Gaunt on the way. Not great for Denver. This could be breaking this defensive position. A lot of Hellborn on the low ground, raining down those Molten Touch fireballs. One of these helicarriers going down. There are a couple of other Shadow Flyers, which do put the army debuff on these other helicarriers that now manage to get in here and do a couple bombing runs, wiping out a lot of that ground army. Now there's just a few Gaunts, probably not enough. But the Hellborn, can they be taken care of before they take care of all of this Exoforce down below? The whole Exoforce is on fire. There's just a few brutes up the front trying to pen them in there. We can see that these Exos have that tier 3 ability that kind of keeps them invincible, but not so invincible that they do not go down to this push. Reinforcements basically being added here as the helicarriers have taken care of most of this army. Wow, very, very nice trade. Ooh, and that looks like that's a GG from Denver. Thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for some more Stormgate content.